course, you know who it is. It's my favorite podcast. 3 out of the 4 are in the building right now, the RSC Sportatorium. You know it's the Ringside Club. Hope all is well where you at. The good guys are in the building. Check this out, like we usually do around this time. Survey time. Fresh off of AEW Dynamite, I believe it was the rubber match we saw between Jon Moxley, Hangman Page. Bitter feud. They're trying to knock each other out. I love it. Question to go around the ring is, who's going to turn heel first? Mox or Page? I'm going Hangman Adam Page. What say y'all?
I'm going Page.
You heard it here first. Look out for the heel turn and look out for the start of the show. Let's get it.
Peace to the gods, the Ringside Club Pod. My name is A.O. Say you're the Ron the Don. Blame Boogie while you at it, blame Chad Law. K-Fabe is dead, break the fourth wall. Whatever style, whether it's lucha or strong style. Come through the beam, you fly, burn the bar down. Back to the pad, chop it up for the par. Ringside Club, intro to the squad as the show starts.
Yes, sir. Peace to the gods and, of course, peace to the earths. Boys, girls, children of all ages. As previously mentioned, you are tuned in to my favorite pro wrestling podcast. We are the Ringside Club, broadcasting live from the Empire Tri-State. Everything you need to know, of course, is at therinsideclub.com, including the link to the shop where you can get t-shirts like the one I have on. And, of course, a hoodie like the one that's hanging up behind me, part of myfresh.com as well. Get these hats, get the hoodies, get the shirts, things of that nature. If you want to chop it up with us, we're everywhere on social media, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. And, of course, you need to subscribe for the video. That's on YouTube. The audio is on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all other podcast platforms. As far as myself, I go by the name of AO. You can find me everywhere, all social media, at DJ A.O. Baker. You heard? Oh, hold up. This is where the drop's supposed to go. Leave it all in there. Pause. Leave it in, Bug. Pause. That was outlandish. That was uncouth. I'm going to pass.
Very.
That was uncouth. I'm going to pass it upstairs.
Fuck.
Round the dime. What's good?
Hey, who
What's
are
good,
you?
man?
Let me introduce you to the other Don. Don.
Yes, I am Ron the Don, yours truly. You can follow me at Ron Don PMF on all streaming platforms, everywhere, man. And you see the coffee in the background, you see the hats.
Hold up. I played
see
you,
the
and I ain't even
hoodies.
mean to play you like that. Proper introduction. Let's bring it back. The reigning, defending RSC predictions, pay-per-view predictions champ. My
See,
bad.
was
I
getting
played
to
the
that.
wrong
See?
drop.
The champ is
It's all good.
here.
It's all
In the
good.
building.
Champ is back in the building. Yes, sir. And soon to might be the
There's a little bit of
RSC
controversy.
TV
A little bit of
champion,
controversy
but we'll
about that, and
see.
we will get into that ASAPington. But first, let's introduce the now
Let's-
former RSC TV predictions champ, the bloke himself.
And the former RSC predictions heavyweight champion, the first ever crowned RSC
True.
predictions
Facts are
heavyweight
spoken.
champion.
That is a fact.
We gotta let you know. You know what I'm saying? Got the audience know. It's law talk. You know what I mean? It's young Godiva himself, the Godiva Nightmare, CHADLAW. I'm in the spot right now at the Ringside Club, live in the Zen studio space. You know what I'm saying? Getting right out here in a rainy night in Atlanta. I'm ready to pod, fellas. Been going wrestling crazy. I lost both my belts. I need them back. I'm on a rampage
Yo,
to talk
I'm
wrestling.
laughing.
Let's get it.
But the unfortunate
All right.
fact here is you're a former champ, you're a current champ. There's a champ that's a title that's currently held in abeyance right now, which is your TV predictions. Boog is also a former champ. I unfortunately have yet to taste the victory, the sweet nectar of victory of holding a championship title, but I'm making a guarantee. Ladies, gentlemen, viewers, subscribers, I am making a guarantee that before February, Black History Month, motherfucker, before the end of the month, I will hold one of those titles in my clutches. I will be a champion before the end of February. Before March hits, I will be a champ.
What?
Nah, I control the
What?
sound, boy.
All right, man.
What?
Well, yeah.
Tell me.
What?
Tell you.
All right, man. We'll see.
That's a very babyface promo of you, my man, because you know
Let's hope-
you sound
hopefully
like
it
you're
gets
going
over.
to win. Usually, the babyfaces
Oh,
will say
man.
that they're going to try to win. You sound confident, like you're going to
I
win.
feel
You
very
actually gonna win
confident.
it. You have to take
I
it
feel
for
very
my
confident.
my
Very,
cold
very,
dead
very
hands,
confident.
man.
As long as there's no NXT or Impact shenanigans, I will be a champ. That's a nice segue, though. That's a nice segue.
Yo, speaking of NXT, we got NXT Vengeance Day. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Going
sir.
on Saturday. It's in
February 4th.
Charlotte. You know what I'm saying?
Spectrum
it's going to
Arena,
be
I
an
believe.
interesting show. I feel like it'll be at least one thumbs up. I'd be very surprised if it was 2 thumbs up, but we can hope for the best. I don't see it being a dud. I think
No,
it'll be very
Spectrum.
passable with the amount of matches that they have so far. You've got the steel cage match with Braun Breaker and Grayson Waller. That should be an interesting one, just
absolutely.
because I think Grayson might be having his swan song. He might be going to the main roster.
You think so?
Yeah, I think he could head to the main roster, man. He's got that main roster feel. I think he could either pop up there or he could win the title off Braun, and just a nice surprise shock to like really pop the crowd. I mean, the crowd really would hate it, but I think that's the pop they're looking for. Like, Braun's been stale. Let's face it. Braun Breaker as the champion has just been as generic gets. It's been a long year with this guy as champion.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see where he's stale, but I feel like he's gonna retain the title against Waller. I don't think it's Waller's time. If anything, it might be at the next one, which is probably around WrestleMania.
The next one, I believe, is Stand and Deliver, which would bring us to finally Braun Breaker versus the true A champion, Melo, who is taking on Apollo Crews, and a 2 out of 3 falls match. That should be my sleeper of the night, honestly. I expect that one to be really, really good. Melo and Apollo, they've got good chemistry together when in the ring, so I think that one's going to be a sleeper when it comes to pinfall victories. Melo's going to take that.
What do you think about Dijak versus Wesley for the North American Championship?
Another sleeper. I think that could be another good one. I think Wesley against bigger opponents is very interesting. I think he's very acrobatic and flippy floppy. And, Dijak, he really shouldn't be getting this L this early, but Wesley just got the title and hasn't had as much defenses, and he needs the credibility. So I think he's going to take that.
And that's what I'm kind of afraid of, because Dijak just did come back, and it seems like he is going to catch this L, because I love Dijak, man. He shouldn't have gone. They shouldn't have did what he did to him on the main roster, man. But it is what it is. He came back with the I guess it's like the Punisher gimmick, I guess.
He's got like an 80s like motorcyclist Tom Cruise kind of gimmick. It's like Top Gun. It's like kind of weird, but
whatever it is,
whatever gets him over, man. He's here, he's there, and I think Tony D'Angelo is going to be the benefactor of either the winner of this match, because he's going to be the next North American champion.
So let me ask y'all this for the record. There's a TV championship that we still got to figure out between Bug and Ron, but all things considered, y'all two are the only two that are in the NXT predictions run, right? Right now. All right, fuck it. While we're here,
right now, yes.
I'll run down the matches, and let's just, on record, let's hear who y'all are picking to win. And this is this Saturday. This is Vengeance Day, correct?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Which is tonight. That's the time once y'all watch this.
I ain't put my predictions in as yet, but I'm just gonna put them.
I'll run down the matches in the order that they are in our notes. And let's see who y'all think are actually gonna take these W's. So we're starting out on our notes, at least. Steel cage match. Interesting. Steel cage match for the NXT Championship. We got Grayson Waller versus Braun Breaker. Check out.
Braun.
Both of y'all have Braun.
I got Braun too.
So before you said,
Mm.
Chad, earlier that you think Melo's probably going to be the guy to dethrone Ron Breakker, right? You think the same, Ron?
Needs to be.
Yeah, I believe so because I can't really think of anybody else that can do it right now.
And they've
Or-
kept them away for this long that if it isn't the stand and deliver match or WrestleMania, like something's up. Melo's going to the main roster, and I think that's very unfortunate.
That's what I was thinking too. Like I thought Melo was going to the main roster by now, but they're still keeping him down there. So I'm thinking, all right, they're gonna let him go for that the NXT title. So yeah, I think it has to be Melo, man, because he's like the top guy right now. One of the top
we have a
guys
triple
right now,
threat for the NXT Women's Championship. Roxanne Perez defending champion against Gigi Dolan and JC Jane. We got
Roxanne.
Roxanne.
Yeah, I got Roxanne
Keep it a
too.
buck. Who
You
was
just
it
won the
that was it?
title.
Who was in the Rumble
She can't look.
from NXT?
Her,
Zoe
Indy
Stark. I'm not
Hartwell,
familiar
Zoe
with
Starks.
a lot of the people in NXT right now, but Zoe Starks in the Rumble, just in the couple of minutes that she was in the match, she showed me something. Like looks like she's pretty damn dope.
A lot of people like her. She's got that main roster potential. I think she's going to be called up next. Like she's going to be the next batch of call-ups because she's outgrowing NXT, and the person she was feuding with, Nikita Lyons, just injured herself again for another 8 months. So there goes that feud. So Zoe's not beating Roxanne. Actually, I take that back. If anybody could beat Roxanne at this point, it would be Zoe. So either Zoe goes to the main roster or she's going to beat Roxanne in a couple months.
Without knowing anything about it, all I know
that.
is the offense looked crisp. So I respect it.
Oh yeah.
She's a former women's tag team champion. She came close to beating Mandy Rose, but you know how that shit went for her title reign. You know what I'm saying? But if anyone gave Mandy a run for her money, I would say it was Zoe Starks. So that's dope that you got to see that from the outside. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, that's cool.
Yeah,
she really is gonna make waves then.
But it's just dope. It's just dope that what she did, in the Rumble, just to show herself off. You know what I'm saying? Just in that little amount of time, she showed what she was made of.
For somebody that don't have a title belt, like she definitely gets over. Like, you know what I'm saying? People fuck with her shit. She's one of those wrestlers that like don't particularly need the belt to like get over.
The title that makes the wrestler. It's the wrestler that indeed makes the title. Speaking of titles, you guys was previously just talking a little bit about the North American Championship, Dijak versus Wesley, but on the record, who is winning that match?
Wesley.
Defending against
I got Wesley
Dijak.
too.
Okay. Fatal 4-way tag team match for the NXT Tag Team Championship. We have the New Day, who are the current champs down in NXT. Clean sweep of all of the tag team titles in WWE, by the way, so that's what's up. They're defending against Gallus, Pretty Deadly, and Chase University. What we got?
This is going to be the tricky one. This is where Ron and I are going to be battling it out.
Yeah, because I'm having a little trouble with it right now. So, you go first, Chad.
Nah, you go first, champ.
All right. Honestly, I can't even call it right now. I'm
taking my picks.
It's either going to be between New Day and I feel like Chase University is going to get it for some reason. I can't call it.
The pressure's on right now, baby.
Right now.
Defending champs or new champs? You said who? Chase University? And Chase University?
I said between the New Day and Chase University. Yeah, between New Day and Chase University.
What you think?
I'm going to go with, it's either got to be New Day retaining, which would be a pretty dope surprise, honestly, like just to keep the brain going. But because there's so many people inside the actual match now, I feel like it's going to be Gallus because they're returning. I personally I'm picking Gallus. But I feel as though New Day could retain just for the sake of retaining. Gallus wins because there's no other match that's really changing a title belt on the pay-per-view. So it would be nice to have that like oh shit,
Mm.
like, reaction, you know what I'm saying? And Chase U would be the underdog pick just because Andre Chase is somehow over with the Chase U gimmick, that him and Duke Hudson would win those in like the feel good moment of the night. But Pretty Deadly are fire, and they could actually sneak in and win the belts back again, and people wouldn't even bat an eyelash at that. This is a tough call. Sleeper. This is why I say this pay-per-view won't be 2 thumbs down. It'll probably be 1 thumb, and I feel like it could be 2 thumbs if you pay attention to NXT, fuck with NXT. Like, those names that I just mentioned, if that match gets a good 14, 15 minutes, I think that's just going to be a smoker right there. Anybody's game for who can win those tag titles, unfortunately. But I'm going Gallus, though.
All right. Shit, you know what? I may go with...
No, champ. Hold on, champ. Hold it down. Hold your picks down, champ. Don't trade nothing. You know what you said.
You had between two. You had between pretty. You had Chase University, pardon me, and New Day.
Did.
Right?
All right.
Who you think? Yeah, I had Chase University, New Day.
All right.
New Day retaining.
I'm gonna go with New Day. I think they're gonna retain it. Yeah.
Okay. On the record, we got it here, folks. Moving right along, I believe we have 2 more matches on the card. 2 out of 3 falls match are pretty much. I'm gonna. What up? Man, just had a run-in. We have a 2 out of 3 falls match. Apollo Crews versus Carmelo Hayes. I'm gonna assume both of y'all are picking Melo.
Yeah.
Damn straight.
The A-champ, baby.
Yeah, I can't see Apollo Crews getting anything from winning. Gotta go to.
And finally, rounding out this card, NXT Women's Tag Team Championship, Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. Have they had that title for a while, right?
Yeah, it's been a minute. I think they're holding a record for it right now.
They're going to retain. There's no other tag teams. Yeah. And if there is a tag team, it's going to be Isla Dawn and Alba Fire who take the belts from them because there's no other tag teams.
Because the tag team they're facing now they're not even a tag team. They just got put together.
They barely get along, which is the typical this is going to be the bathroom break match before the before the steel cage match.
So that's defending champs, Katana Chance, Kaden Carter versus Fallon Henley and Kiana James. I'm assuming y'all are going for the retain here, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
That's a fact.
Retain.
I like him though. I like Kaden Carter. She's a cute little cutie to me.
Yeah, I like
you know what I'm saying? I fuck with her.
I messed with her before, man. So she's
okay. Word. You messed with her before? That's what's up.
Don.
I mean, as a wrestler, Ron. Let's clear that up. Let the champ clear that up.
Don right here, man.
Hey, listen, there was something going on. I want to let y'all in, you dig?
All right.
I would.
Wait, you want tickets to see Ron get it on? Yo, this guy's next. This guy's out of his mind.
You're a freak, man.
This guy's out of his freaking mind, man.
All right, so that's NXT Vengeance Day. Those are the picks. The picks are in. Let's move it right along.
Yo, hold on a second. Yo, does that card not sound good enough to make you want to watch NXT sometime?
That was your question, Ron, right? What would it take for me and, of course, Bug? But you don't regularly watch NXT or keep up with it. And I can't really give a specific reason off top for starters as to why. Like, it just doesn't... Like, NXT reminds me a lot of Impact in the sense of the overall production to me is everything that I don't like about WWE condensed into one show. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's pretty silly. Plus the fact that it's very much a developmental brand where it was called a developmental brand, but it was basically treated as a third brand. You know, the prior versions of NXT. But I remember when they first went over to the 2. Here's a good question, right? When they first changed from NXT to NXT 2.0 versus what it is current day, the last month or so, or just lately in general, is there a difference? Much of a difference between the 2.0 from when they first rebranded to what's going on now?
As far as I've seen, not really. The only change is the logo. basically. I haven't seen anything like super different. They just continued on with storylines and whatnot. That's all I saw.
Yeah. So
Nothing different.
Yeah.
it
It's
was
the
pretty much
same crop of
that was pretty
faces,
much what
less
what the
brighter.
turnoff for me was. Like it got really, really silly. Some of the gimmicks are just like in the '90s Doink the Clown shit, and this person is the plumber, and this person is the the repo man and all that. Like I have no interest in that shit. Like there was a match that we watched on Dynamite this past week, for instance, Timothy Thatcher versus Bryan Danielson, right? Like I like big personalities. I don't need a gimmick. I don't need you to come out and do a cartwheel and then blow balloons out your asshole. I want like just big personalities. Like a Conor McGregor from UFC is not a gimmick. He's a big ass personality. He can talk shit really, really well, and he's good at what he does, or at least he used to be.
Yeah.
You know, if we've given that example. So the Timothy Thatcher match versus Bryan Danielson. Once they get in there, that's why I'm a big fan of Zack Sabre Jr. Also, like just get in there and really look like you're trying to hurt your opponent and win. And then we have storylines like Bloodline shit is a dope storyline. I'm not getting any of the things that I like from pro wrestling in NXT. I haven't given it a fair shot recently, so maybe I'll tune into the NXT joint.
There's certain people you have to check out, like in NXT, that will give you that. Axiom is pretty good. The new kid,
I remember A Kid from
he's
UK.
good.
I remember Tyler Bate.
A Kid is good. Tyler Bate is good. Ilya Dragunov is good. You got
Of course, Zoe
Drew
Starks.
Gulak is making a cameo. He's still there. Charlie Dempsey is going to be a problem. William Regal's son. He's definitely he's getting over. Speaking of, I think he has a match. No, he had the match on NXT.
Yeah, he had a match on Tuesday.
He's getting over. He's
against,
very good.
It was against Drew Gulak.
Drew Gulak.
Right? Yeah.
Yes, that's speaking of your Timothy Thatcher, Daniel Bryan. There you go with that one right there. Those two. Who else? Mello is good. I like Mello matches.
How's this Apollo?
I like
Crews
Mello
Rebrand?
matches. They're fun.
Sinking for me. It hasn't
It's
done
like
anything for me, to be honest.
It's like, what is he accomplishing? It's like, okay, you just like get big matches and lose, but you like beat the guys that like kind of don't really matter. So
that's what I'm thinking. He's going to lose again this Saturday. Because,
right, he's just holding, he's just getting over. Like NXT, like if anything, he could be in the North American title hunt, but it's like that's his glass ceiling. If anything, I think we're just going to get some more surprises after the fact. Like more people are going to come down to NXT. Like you'll see some more people pop up that haven't done a cameo already. That's all we've been getting anyway. So that's who I think is just going to keep, showing up.
So let me ask you this:
it's a matter of who,
primarily,
though.
obviously, cover AEW and WWE. All right, we have like the weekly TV, the Raw, the SmackDown, the Dynamite, sometimes Rampage if it's something relevant to talk about, and then obviously the pay-per-views. Then we have like the other brands. So there's New Japan, which is probably going to be my answer to the question I posed to y'all. New Japan, Impact is still out there. We were talking a little bit about MLW off the air. We were talking a little bit about, even NWA is still around. You know what I'm saying? There's MLW. Outside of AEW and WWE, and I'm going to include NXT in the question, what other brand like would be your first choice to actually watch? New Japan, NXT, MLW, so on and so forth. Like what actually interests you that it cause you to say, all right, I'm going to stop and make sure I know what's going on here?
For me, it's still going to be NXT, and I still understand that it's back to developmental. And then after NXT is ROH when they become separate. I definitely want to get back into that as a separate entity. After that is probably New Japan, but ROH for me though. Like I can't wait for it to be by itself and AEW and like ROH just separate and just ROH gets to back what they were doing before.
I was heavy in Impact, but right now Impact is making some highly questionable decisions as they normally do every couple of years, with some major re-signings, and just some interesting storylines that aren't really taking me to that place of like, oh, I need to keep watching consistently. It's unfortunate because I rock with Impact. You know what I'm saying? I like what they be doing, but they're not doing it for me right now, and that's usually always my go-to. If I have to contribute something though, I would say NXT though. I definitely fuck with NXT. I go to NXT often. It's WWE product. It's like it always gives me that new, fresh, crisp production. It's the production. I would go to MLW more, but I just can't get jiggy with the production and storylines. NWA has horrible storylines and matches. I'm lying. Matches aren't bad in NWA. They're just I feel like you would like NWA, yo. Like you should be liking the NWA like style of wrestling. Like that's what you want. Like you got that NWA feel. You know
I
what
mean,
I'm saying?
the
Minus
storylines
Tyrus.
got to be there also. And
You know
if
what I'm
Tyrus
saying?
is your top guy, like I'm sorry, I ain't tuning into
Yeah.
that shit. I ain't watching that shit at all.
I be trying to give GCW a chance, but you know, it just be like I feel like they don't have a big enough
Yeah.
cachet for me to be like, I'm not way invested.
Yo, honestly, the same issue you have with Impact is what I have with like MLW and NWA. It's just like the production value. It's like the talent is there, but like just the production, it just turns me off. It like it just has to.
Now that's
something has
my
to be done.
that's
They
my
rely
turn
too much
off.
on-
Ironically, for like WWE products is the overproduction. Like for me, sometimes it goes way too far. It's too bright. It's too clean. It's too perfect. This person is in the right spot at the right time all the time. So the shit doesn't look like a fight actually looks. It doesn't look like anything spontaneous is ever going to happen.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like I fuck with
it's
I
too
fuck with
polished for you.
like AEW.
Too
If there's
polished.
a mistake, it's not like it's gonna completely derail the entire show. It's like, oh, the camera tipped over a little bit, and then we good. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody kind of went over by, I don't know, an extra 2 minutes or whatever, or cursed on TV or something like that. It's like you get the feeling of this is live TV. Anything can happen at any time, but it's still part of the show. You know what I'm saying? So like taste wise, that's overall.
Yeah.
To answer my question, when I was mentioning before, I didn't even think of ROH just because it's been like, like junior AEW since Tony bought it. But that would be my go-to, and then probably like just Japan, but like the big matches because they don't really have a weekly TV show, and then a lot of the shows on the way to the big shows are just like a bunch of tag matches while we're kind of getting people ready and doing shit like that. But I was just curious. It's an interesting question. All right, so we're talking about a whole bunch of outside of the WWE things. So let's bring it back to WWE real quick. Cody just won the Rumble. Cody Rhodes, that is, just won the Rumble. He's challenging. There is only one person for him to challenge. It's Roman Reigns. He's the undisputed, so he's a Universal and a WWE championship holder right now. But I'm curious what y'all think about this. We saw while he was in AEW, he desperately wanted to be the guy that was cheered, that was like loved by everybody, all generations, kiss the babies, shake the grandfather's hand, shit like that, everybody in between. But he got booed. People got tired of the act. And my theory with WWE is that had he not been hurt when he was hurt, I think the same thing would have happened. I think that act with the cape, the long jacket and the smiling and then the dramatic gotta cry during the promos and even the suits and shit like that. I'm not sure how long of a shelf life a babyface Cody Rhodes has with an audience. Now, this is a different audience, but nonetheless, how long do you guys give the WWE fans, or first of all, do you think they're going to turn on him at some point? And if you do think that, between now and whenever that may be, how long do you give him?
You go, Chad. So I gotta think about it for a minute.
I think once he wins the championship and has to go against Sami Zayn, that's when the fans will be like, all right, we're going Sami here. Yeah, we're going Sami here. When Cody has to go against a major babyface, that's when the fans will decide. But for now, he is the number one babyface because just like Bray Wyatt, he is slotted as the number one babyface of Raw on, respective brands. So it's like, I don't think the fans are turning, man. I think the WWE crowd, like they clearly don't watch AEW.
Right.
Didn't watch AEW because if they did, they'd be booing Cody Rhodes too. But he don't get boos, and if he does get booed, we don't hear it because the crowd's going crazy. He adds that much needed star power to Raw. He single-handedly brings back some excitement to Raw. which is wild to be saying that Cody Rhodes, because I don't think
At
7
all.
years ago we'd even be having this conversation.
He had to
4
go
years ago
outside
we
and
had
build
this
that brand.
conversation. To the point where it's
Yo,
like, yo, we desperately needed that guy back on Raw. Like they needed something. Like, and that presence alone. Like, yes, if there were more AEW, guys to jump over, that would the wrestling wars, like, yeah, it'd be cool. But Cody, like, as the only really new hottest free agent acquisition at that time, like, I think he's gonna be just fine as the top babyface until he has to go against Sammy at SummerSlam.
Sammy
said it
Cody
first.
SummerSlam for the title.
that'll be
Crazier
interesting.
things have happened, but there's no way that Sami Zayn can be the champion and he can still be hugely over, and it won't even matter if he's not
Foley.
the champion or not. He can
He's
have the
Foley.
title or not have the
Universally
title.
loved. Title, no title.
I don't think he'll be the
Like
the
Foley.
poster boy. He's gonna have that type of run, just like Foley, where it's like he ain't the poster boy, he's the champion. He ain't the guy that he ain't always on the poster, but like, yo, he's the champion. He's selling. Everybody loves him. They want him there. Crazy enough, he should be, but he doesn't have the Austin Theory look. And then we get to Sami Zayn, Austin Theory next year. It's all wild, man. Getting ahead of myself here.
Listen, I feel like if Cody didn't get injured, he would have been stale by like December or whenever they decide for him to go for Roman's title. But since he got injured, obviously he couldn't do that. And I say I think he's gonna go stale maybe sometime after WrestleMania after he wins the title. Because they're gonna stretch this, my father didn't attain the title and I gotta win it for him and the whole crying nonsense, all that, which is cool with like, the American dream thing, like I gotta do this for my pops. I think people are gonna get tired of that after WrestleMania sometime. I don't know when, but sometime after that. I look at Cody right now as I think he might be the John Cena where like he's beloved right now, and then after a while he's just gonna
Yo, that's why I asked,
gonna
right?
go a little stale, man. Like,
Yo, y'all are so pressed that like he's gonna go
I
heel.
don't think he's
like,
gonna go
the
heel. That's what I'm
crowd.
saying. I don't think.
Yeah, I think he's just gonna be oblivious. He's gonna pull the AEW move and
I
just
don't
be like,
think
"What are you guys
I don't think he's
talking
gonna
about?"
go heel.
I'm
He's
the
not gonna go
American
heel. He's just
Nightmare.
gonna go. He's just
But
gonna
look
go
at-
stale.
but look
He's
at
gonna go
it though.
tone deaf.
You
That's what
have
he's gonna
two
go.
have two factors, right? You have a character that's overbearing, love me, love me, love me, love me. That's who Cody Rhodes is. Like, he set himself on fire, bro,
Yeah,
to get people to cheer him. He literally set his own skin on fire on television.
that-
He moonsaulted off of a cage. He
that's
bleeds
the
in every
definition
match.
of doing too
Like
much.
he does
Yeah, like-
everything that he thinks is going to garner sympathy as a babyface. So you have that factor, number one. The other factor is I don't give a shit who's running creative. Vince, Triple H, whoever the fuck. This is WWE, where if you are who we want you are who we want you to be right now. We're not veering off of that road at all. They did it with Cena. Cena never turned heel and got booed. They did it with Roman. Paul Heyman had to
Right.
be the guy. Or however we get this version of Roman, this wasn't what they wanted to do. This is just what happened. And then it happened to work. So the point is, like, Hogan never turned heel. That was in WCW.
Until it was the NWO.
Mm.
Cody's got to have a faction. I think that is what would turn Cody heels if he built a faction up. But even still, I think it would help him to have a faction, which I think will be the Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn alliance over these next couple of weeks.
And then he had the American family in AEW. So just do off of that. Go off of that. Sometimes
The American Nightmare family in WWE consisting of who?
Whoever we just mentioned on that
That's a good
Vengeance Day
question.
card.
He might.
Basically, Braun Breaker as security, just a bunch of young, pretty much rebuild legacy. Is that what he should do? Is that what Cody Rhodes can do?
Shit,
Is his
if he-
signature just
if-
rebuild
if-
the legacy faction?
If he needs to turn heel when he goes stale.
Get all of the third generation wrestlers, second generation wrestlers, and just get them back together in a group.
Cody is he just wants to overdo it, man. Just to please, like you said, send himself on fire. I think that was a little unnecessary because I think they just saw like, all right, you're just overdoing it. Like, you don't have to set yourself on fire. Like, we don't want you to die just to please us. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't.
Cody's not going to turn because Randy Orton will come back and punt him in the head in front of Brandy, and everybody is going to be like,
nah, that's gonna be the craziest storyline.
And he'll continue to be so beloved. You still got Randy Orton, man. Get well soon, RKO. We miss you. I can't believe it's been about to be over a year. We ain't seen Randy Orton. Riddle out until who knows when. It's still so many people that like. It's why we ain't seen Randy Orton in so long that it's like, yo, his presence is really needed on Raw. Like, I really could appreciate an RKO.
Like, this was some of the best stuff that he's been doing his whole career. This is up there,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's insane, man. Get better. All
right, sure. Yes, who's up?
What was that? That was I think the U.S.
Yeah, what's happening? First of all, all right. So WWE, we have the Intercontinental title is on Gunther still. U.S. champ is who? Austin Theory.
Austin Theory.
And then we have the Elimination Chamber coming up. Who's the tag champs right now? Uso. Yeah, duh.
Usos still.
Usos.
So the dirt sheets say that it's probably going to be a little Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn tag team to dethrone the Usos. Y'all see any other directions? Y'all think that's the direction, or what do we think?
It's the only one that makes sense. No other team is credible.
Yeah, I can't think of anybody else. And then on top of that, we've only been concentrating on what, like with the Sami and Roman thing and the Cody thing. So it's like, I didn't even make time to think about like, yo, who's gonna go for those tag belts after for WrestleMania, I guess, or after WrestleMania. But yeah, Owens and Zayn is the only possible guys I can see going for them with the way the whole storyline was going. So I can't see anybody else.
Tag titles are going to be interesting moving forward. Whether they split them up or not. I would love for them to split them up by brand. That'd be great. Both teams need it. Both brands need it. But that's a long-term prediction. Right now, the Usos are going to be in the win with everything going on with the bloodline, and I don't see them losing the belts anytime soon anyways. U.S. title, Intercontinental title, those are all pretty much staying a lock until Mania.
Yeah.
Theory can go either way. I don't see him losing at Elimination Chamber, but I also see him facing John Cena for some reason at Mania. I think that match is going to happen. And Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew for a triple threat at Mania. Gunther just continuing to steamroll everybody. And even still, I think that will be the match that Sheamus wins the Intercontinental title finally. Have his WrestleMania moment.
Listen, that'll be dope. But how long did Gunther have the title in Europe?
It was at least a year,
like almost 2 years, I think.
2 years. Yo, honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing Gunther doing that.
I could do that too if he just steamrolled through him at Mania. I could see him just keeping the Intercontinental title. Like, he's putting on amazing matches. I really thought I'm actually cool with him not facing Brock Lesnar for the Intercontinental title, because if he keeps that belt all the way through SummerSlam and Brock Lesnar versus Gunther for the Intercontinental title, that's easily the biggest Intercontinental title match.
And I don't care what's on the card. You know what I'm saying?
I don't want to say ever. Yeah, I don't want to say ever, but that for the Intercontinental title would probably be one of the best matches in that history of the lineage of that title.
Up there. Like,
I agree with that.
Brock probably don't give a shit about the Intercontinental title. He's like, what the hell is this? Into what? And I just want to fight.
That standoff during the Rumble, though. Like, people knew what that was. You saw Brock and Gunther. Yeah.
They got that in their
match since Gunther was Walter. You know what I mean? So I'm all for whenever that match happens. I want to see it.
I would love for it to be Mania, but I think they're gonna hold off on that and save it for like when it's not an overcrowded card. Because that match alone, I mean, hell, if it's even on a PLE, that match alone would just be like, whew, yeah, that's the main event. Like I got to tune in for that one. Like that one I wouldn't watch on delay. I'd have to watch that match live because that one's gonna be a Dave Meltzer. I mean, just two behemoths, man. Just
So, so I
you
have
know
a
how that go. You know the reviews and shit. So that's why I'm like, nah, that's gonna be the one right there. But yeah, the mid card titles I think are I don't think they'd even change hands. I think only the tag titles are gonna really change hands. I think IC and US are gonna stay with the current champions for a minute.
Yeah, and they're still gonna need to build that up because Roman still has the 2 top titles, so definitely need to big those up. So I have a question for you guys. So if Brock is not gonna face Gunther at WrestleMania or maybe SummerSlam, so as of right now, like it seems like he's gonna, I guess, go do something back with Bobby Lashley. Are y'all with that right now, or you want to see him do
I still
something
like that
else?
feud. Like I still like that feud. I want them to
Okay.
both be given the room and the space and the time, the environment, I should say, just to beat the hell out of each other. It doesn't have to be a long match. Like both of those guys are heavyweights. So if you look at a heavyweight match, those aren't the ones that go 40 minutes. Those are the ones that we're trying to knock each other out as fast as possible. Hit hit your opponent with your biggest moves, your finishers, whatever. So I want chaos. Um, so I'm still with that because I don't think the two of them, unless they don't, I don't know if it's a chemistry thing or timing or whatever, but I don't think we've seen the best match that the two of them could have against each other yet. You know what I mean? So
Oh no, not at all. Not at
Is
all.
there a
Yeah.
stipulation for this match, or is this
I'd
going to
like
be a
this
straight
just to
up
see like
rubber match?
a no DQ. You know what I'm saying? It's a no DQ. Let them,
Yeah,
it's
I
going to be a
agree.
brawl,
Yeah.
suplexes, brawls, weapons. They don't need kendo sticks. Like just tables, barricades. Some new weapon that we haven't seen or a weapon we haven't seen in a while in WWE. Yeah,
F5 through the
yeah.
announce
Go up to the
table, something
stage,
that's just
toss each other
not
off of the
them just
stage
play.
or into the LED screen. Like I want. Like I remember when a couple of times when Braun and Roman were feuding against each other, and they would be fighting all over the building, or even just up the ramp. Like that's the kind of match that I think the two of them, just straight up violence. Like I'm trying to hurt this guy. They have a personal beef with one another now because they've been costing each other matches and taunting each other and Rumble elimination, so on and so forth. So like I don't think the two of them have had like what could be the best, utilization of both of their talents. So I'm still with it. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's been done to death yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a
That's what
funny name you mentioned. You just mentioned Braun Strowman, and I think this might be the first time since he returned that anyone on the RSC has mentioned Braun Strowman in anything.
Yeah, now he's in a tag
Ricochet,
in a some kind of tag team with Ricochet. Yeah,
Which is
That's
kind of
a
fire,
good-
actually. Good use of him right now.
yeah, it's
Strange
dope.
bedfellows, but it could
Yeah.
work though. It could work for like the tag division right now. They could use the shot in
Because
the
like
arm, and it gives them
Ricochet
both
by
something
himself
to do.
is really
So I think
unique
that's
and really
interesting.
talented, but really hasn't been able to pick up any momentum. Same thing with Braun. Braun came back, and that was hot for a week, and that was it. You know what I'm saying? So put the two of them together, and like on paper, there really shouldn't be. Nobody has a physical advantage against Braun and Ricochet. One can out flip you and out athletic you, and the other
No,
one is
not at all.
stronger than you. You know what I mean? So it's interesting.
Yo, it
That
was
should
a
also tell you the star power of Cody Rhodes. The fact that we speak about Cody Rhodes and a jolt in the arm for somebody that's returned, and Braun Strowman's been here the whole time, and we're just like, well,
Yo,
Yeah.
you know what
He's
happens when you
back.
have a
yo,
fraudulent,
listen.
$20 bill? You hold that shit up to the light, and it's like, nah.
Yo, listen.
Yo.
Listen, it was a wrap for Braun when he got slammed by Otis. After that, it was downhill from there. Like
It's
he
interesting,
couldn't
man.
pick
It's
up
like a
he couldn't
lot
pick
of
up
the
after that.
returns, and I think I'll probably save that for next week's topic. But a lot of these returns, as we give them our 6-month evaluation, man, it's like, oh no,
Yo,
man.
even
I
more
don't
than
know
that,
about these
the
guys.
real conversation ain't even the returns. The real conversation is all the hope that everybody had for Triple H booking. how different. Remember when he first came back and we were all like, all right, how long are we giving it before we see like real? If you take this bloodline storyline and put that to the side, what else is really, really popping right now? Like the Rumble for me was like the best of WWE and the worst of WWE in 3 hours. Right? Both of the Rumble matches were cool. There was some little storylines, some threads. So I give those were both thumbs up. Bloodline, like the match with
Yeah.
Kevin Owens and Roman was cool. It was some very violent spots. And then we have an all-time storyline. Nobody can front on that. But then we also had this Bray Wyatt and whatever the fuck that was supposed to be, and then bleeding into the Alexa Bliss, whatever the fuck that was supposed to be. We have a champion who's directly like her reign is put to the side right now to do this Alexa Bliss thing. Speaking about Bianca Belair, a champion is only as good as the fuse that they're in, and this ain't it. You know what I mean? And then we have a dope talent like LA Knight. And whatever the fuck this Bray Wyatt thing was supposed to be, I haven't heard yet anybody saying anything good about the match or the angle. So it was the best and the worst of WWE. But since Triple H has taken over, what's the grade on his booking decisions? Feud by feud, angle by angle. Matches are going to be good. Matches are fine.
I'll say
No. That's not even for right now because that requires some thought. Yeah, that requires some thought.
Let's save it for next week.
Some thought. Right. But I just think
save
in
it for
general,
next
the
week.
sweeping changes that a lot of people were predicting, that hasn't been the case. There's been some dope things. Like we see Michael Cole, commentary in general seems like they're a little more free to explore different themes. Michael Cole is doing some of the best. Like he's sarcastic as hell. He talks shit about homie from Hit Row all the time, which I love. You know what I mean? So roasting him.
Roasting top dog.
Yo, listen, that the announced team on the Royal Rumble, fantastic. It's probably the best announced team in a minute. Like, yo, Michael Cole was just flying off the handle, man. It was insane, man.
All right, we got one more topic, do we not?
All right.
The streak of Jade Cargill, 50-0, ladies and gentlemen. She is the TBS champion with racked up amounts of wins that, for the most part, have not mattered. I can't wait for the next era of Jade Cargill this year. I hope she loses the TBS title to Willow Nightingale. I hope she ends up fighting for the women's title very soon. If she doesn't lose the TBS title, I just need her to start bullying around Britt Baker and Soraya and Jamie Hayter and the rest of them, because there's no reason she should be fighting developmental talent every week for the sake of just racking up 50 wins. What's next for Jade Cargill?
I'll say this. My thing with Jade Cargill is I hope they don't give her the Goldberg and the Rusev treatment where they put them on a streak and then after they lose the belt or they lose their streak, they just flounder. I don't want to see that.
It's already not that, because Goldberg's streak, he had decisive wins. Oh, he had crushing victories over Ric Flair, Sting.
Yeah, he did.
Giant, Ravens' whole flock, the NWO. He had notable wins in that streak that made you go, yo, I gotta watch this. He killed everybody in that streak. You can't name anyone out of Jade's 50-0 that has mattered. And that's a Fendi fact.
Probably only Red Velvet, that was it. And even that.
Red Velvet, Nyla Rose, Ty Conti, Anna Jay, Chris Statlander, Athena.
Athena's dope because I mean she's at least the ROH women's champion right now. Like they tapped in a little bit with her being
not a problem.
Like your point is, but your point is
I didn't
valid.
say everybody.
Like, there aren't any marquee feuds or angles that she's had over this championship. You know what I'm saying? There's been a match with somebody. The vast majority aren't ever going to be a TBS champion or a world champion in the women's division. So
I'll do you one better, AO. Half of them aren't even here anymore in AEW. You know what I'm saying? They were just on Dark Elevation, and they are currently wrestling in interchangeable indie fed. So it's time for Jade Cargill to start kicking Britt Baker's ass. I need the baddies versus the DMD crew. I need Tony Storm and Jade Cargill. I need Saraya and Jade Cargill happening, man, because if this was WWE, they would have really had Jade Cargill like
I mean, yes
out
and
of
no,
here, yo.
because we also have to
Out of
take
here,
into
out of
account
this world.
how much Jade has improved since she started wrestling. Like, she literally, her first single-digit matches, we've seen everything on TV. It wasn't like she had a long period of time where she was training and developing off camera. None of that. She developed, everything is on camera. So remember, her first thing was coming out with Brandy and Shaq and all of that. Like, I think Shaq was her debut match, was it not? Or at least one of the first 5. That might have been a debut
Yeah.
match.
Yeah,
So
it was.
think
Yeah.
about like how
It
much
was
she's
one
improved.
of
So
those
part
5.
of it
Yeah,
is
one of the
that
first 5.
because you have somebody that looks like her, has the presence that she does, it's a waste almost when you're trying to build a women's division up to put her to the side because nobody else can command attention the way that she does. So they had to have her develop and give her like these easy ass matches. But I think she can hold her own right now. Like, I think
she, even
Possibly.
holding her own, I think she can just beat them up. If she really was the black female Goldberg, it just came through and beat up Tony Storm to the point where it's like, damn, I kind of feel bad for Tony Storm.
but I
is she
think
even
they're
stand a
going.
chance? It's like she's trying to
I
wrestle
think they're gonna
Jade, and
go in
Jade's
that
just
direction.
beating
What it
her
looks
up.
like they're doing right now is you have Saraya and you have Tony Storm, who are heels now. They jump Britt Baker in the back. They're basically talking about, we come from the big leagues and we're coming here and the rest of y'all are under us. So it's like us versus them. It's basically outside of, it's AEW originals or AEW original women's division versus the outsiders kind of thing. Not saying it's going to be like a whole hostile takeover thing, but that's kind of, there's a line in the sand. We come from WWE, or we at least come from outside.
There is. It's
So I
happening.
think like the crown jewel for AEW is going to be Jade. Like, she's getting cheered. She's been getting cheered organically. Remember, she's still a heel, you know, and obviously, like, she's picking up her.
Men
Jade
love
Cargill.
looking at her.
Chad
I
Cargill.
love looking at Jade Cargill.
Yeah, you
We
said
support
this.
Jade Cargill and the Cargill crew. You know what I'm saying? Like, she kills it. The outfits, the style, the confidence. She is going to be the key factor in that AEW versus former,
Blood and Guts.
competition.
Blood and Guts. I'm
Blood and
seeing
Guts, yeah.
Hayter, Britt Baker, Jade, and then probably Ruby Soho, because it looks like Ruby Soho right now is playing the Sami Zayn role. Like, not exactly can I be down, but yo, I see what's going on. I got your back.
Yeah, she's starting to get
You know
there
what I
now.
mean?
Yeah.
I can see that stretching. I can see that stretching to Blood and Guts, and then
Yeah,
she turns on them to
something
cause them
like
to
that.
lose and
And
sides
then
with
you
her
had
old homies.
Saraya and Tony Storm, and then you figure another 2 out. Like, put Mercedes. I mean, put her to the side. Like, I believe
Mercedes
when I see
Monet.
it. Like, I do think it's gonna happen, but the timing, I don't know when the Blood and Guts match would be versus when her schedule is gonna allow her. You know, whatever. She's in New Japan right now, IWGP champ. Maybe after she wins that title, which is also, I think that's on the 18th. That's coming up, Battle in the
Yeah.
Valley. But yeah, like, I think that's the next move for Jade. I don't know who she loses to outside of Willow Nightingale. If it's not her, I can't call it. Could be a returning Statlander, which would be dope. People have wanted that match for a while, but then you also have to, you know, kind of build her back up. You can't just bring her back and throw her in a title match. But that is an open, you know, it's a challenge title. It's like an open challenge title. So that could happen that way. But yeah, like, I think Jade Cargill is finally ready to move on and up from doing squash matches, easy opponents, repeat opponents. Like, let's give her something to sink her teeth into, a marquee feud. Let's give her something to do to elevate herself and her opponent and the title. 1000%.
Right.
Facts.
All right.
I'm here for it.
Fellas, good pod. Good pod.
Good.
Appreciate
Been a
all
good
of
one.
y'all for tuning in. Peace to
Another one.
Bug, of course. We'll be back next
then-
week. We're still trying to
Do we
figure
have a,
this controversial
we have
TV
an ending, sir?
predictions championship out. Lost it.
Can't believe I lost my belts, man. Some bullshit. All Lashley
Lost it.
right now. I'm in the
Hey.
holding pattern.
Hey,
It's
do we
crazy.
have an outro question? Can we think of an outro question like we usually do?
I can think of an outro question. Let's keep it AW related. We can go with, since we did Mox and Hangman to start, let's do something actually no, tag titles. I got it. Outro survey. How long will the Acclaim keep the tag titles?
Keep it a buck. We have the next feud, or the current feud right now, is the Guns. I don't know if this is a prediction, but I will say I will not be surprised if they drop the titles to the Guns. I would not be surprised.
I was thinking the same thing, and
I
I feel
feel the
like
same way.
I feel like Billy Gunn's gonna turn on the Acclaim.
Could be. I see the seeds for that. Yo, the
I can see
Acclaimed
that
are one of
happening,
those
too.
tag teams that you have to like. They're hot right now, and if you don't want to ruin it, you got to do something different with them really, really quick. You know what I'm saying? Like, they've been over, and the crowds are fucking with them. Lose the belts. Lose the belts.
It's a fact.
Yeah, before they get
That's a fact,
stale.
though.
Yeah.
That's a fact. You don't want to have them having the over long reign where it's just like, oh man, we know this routine. They're gonna come out, rap, kill it, and defeat their opponent, steamroll through them. Next feud, next feud, next feud. Whereas like there's gonna be a storyline actually. Because after the Guns, I don't think there's much storylines for the Acclaim to really get into that are gonna be. Whatever they get into after the Guns is going to be super brand new because there really aren't any tag teams. I think we've forgotten all about the rankings at
There
this
ain't no
point.
rankings.
So I am going to go with y'all. I'm going to go with y'all and say the Guns will probably take the titles from the Acclaim and give us that, like,
And that would not surprise me.
to
and I
get
would
some
not be mad at it.
revitalization.
Or I get. Yeah, me neither. I can see Billy Gunn like interfering in the match and like messing with the Acclaim and making them lose. I can see that.
I think it'll be a swerve. I think he'll aim to help the Acclaim, but it'll backfire when one of the kids knows, like, oh, nah, I got this.
That could happen too.
So
You heard?
that's it. RSC, we out.